Nice gear. Could find something better. Check the console.
Where'd you find your stock?
That information's out of your price range, friend.
Who will protect us from the kid?
All systems green.
You have AVP outstanding, Pathfinder.
But if you think about it, we're free to do almost anything now.
Relax on a sunny beach?
Why not? We must have made some.
And we'd be willing to share.
Beach volleyball. I'd say it was the right time.
Sans jump jet, I hope. I got the popcorn. And whatever Graxon is.
Thank you. I owe Cora for letting me use her clearance. This'll be fun, like watching vids with Sid when she was little.
can try talking to him for you.
That's kind, Subi.
Hi there. Just checking in. What's up? Is there more about Kalinda you want to share?
She keeps sending us Fremtech, no strings attached. It's hard to believe she's turned over a leaf. When we were close, there were periods when she was sugar sweet. They never lasted. So I'm not counting any chickens. I'm just mixing metaphors.
Were you two intimate?
Take a wild guess. Why are people so hung up on sex? It's a natural expression of attraction. We were doing exciting, daring, irreverent things. It stirs stuff up, like shaking a bottle of champagne, you know? I'm not the type to save myself.
What happened to end the relationship?
Which time? She'd thrown me aside so many times, I felt like a yo-yo, each more cruel than the last. She'd come back with sweet talk, apologize profusely, tell me her feelings were so intense she got scared, yada yada. Until she disappeared, right around when I found my first remnant ruin. So I threw myself into that.
Tell me more about the two of you.
After she woke me from stasis, I was living off-grid, right? She set me up. Got me ID cards, access to resources. I thought we were a team. She was the society lady. Proper, established, powerful, living vicariously through me. She introduced me to her circle, showed me off, called me her little rogue. I felt special.
Did you know she was working with the exiles?
Had no idea. Blows my mind she was leading a double life. Nexus aristocrat by day, thrill-seeking outlaw boss by night. I realize now how little I knew about her. Makes me question everything.
Let's talk about something else.
Yes, please.
Now that you've decided to stick around, you getting closer to the team?
Yeah. It's a good team. I've signed on the dotted line, you win. Don't rub it in.
Thanks for chatting. We'll talk again later.
You know it.
How's it going? When did you start believing in a god? My parents were both scientists. My home was ruled by rationality. So when I became a teenager, let's just say that while other kids found Batarian music, I found God. But your work as a scientist convinced me even more, especially when I got into molecular biology, physics. The patterns I kept seeing over and over again, they were like an artist's watermarks. God, to me, is an artist, an inventor, not someone checking to see if I brush my teeth. I take it you work closely with the Nexus Science team? I try to keep in contact with them. We discuss anything and everything we discover out here. After all, many brains are better than one, and Dr. Aridana is worth 2 or 3 at least. I work best when I have other people to bounce ideas off of. I'm still fuzzy about how we managed to see Andromeda all the way from home. It confused me too. I mean, the light lag would have made any data 2 million years out of date. So I asked Dr. Aridana, and she told me, well, it wasn't our tech that did it. It was the Geths.
You're kidding. Those killer robots we had in the Milky Way?
Those exact ones. The initiative obtained data from an array in deep space, a Geth construct. According to Aridana, the Geth rebuilt a mass relay and turned the approach corridor into an FTL sensor.
FTL sensor. So a faster-than-light telescope? They could survey Andromeda as it was?
Not exactly, but it cut down the lag by enough. We don't know why the Geth were interested in observing beyond the galaxy, though. Maybe we'll never know.
Did my dad know about this? Why didn't he tell me?
It's possible he didn't know. The Geth are isolationist and hostile. Using the info, even obtaining it in the first place, probably crossed a lot of boundaries.
What are your thoughts on the origin of the Angara?
You're not the only one who's asked that. It's going around, people saying it's unnatural. Are biotics natural? What about space travel, painkillers, clothing, fire? All of it's made our lives better. Why would I draw the line at life creation tech?
I have to say I agree.
The Angara are the same, whether evolved or created by some mysterious hand. Not everyone sees that, however. And knowing the Scourge was a weapon meant to destroy the Jardin makes me wonder. Maybe someone out there really hated what the Jardin were doing.
I should get back to things.
Sounds good.
Righter. I should get back to things.
Sounds good.
Gil, O'Connell and Serena spent months getting our systems coordinated. You can't just strip and redesign those connections on the fly. Gil? I know you can hear me.
The whole ship can hear you. I'm just not listening.
You're fighting again?
I'm thinking the same, believe me. A real victory. Our Ark back at the Nexus. I'd almost given up hope.
The cat won't touch the Barchero again. The militia will see to that.
Losing Pathfinder Reka is a blow. So many Solarians joined the initiative because of her. But you did your best. Did you need me?
What do you think of the rest of the crew?
Liam's quite fun. Not many humans have that kind of energy. I probably shouldn't have told him there are secret compartments in the armory, though. He's been looking all day.
If you helped to build the Tempest, you must know plenty about her.
Just about everything. By memory. It was quite the effort to get her working. The initiative needed absolutely up-to-date technology, which we all had to coordinate, and some of it was rather tricky to acquire.
Acquire?
Buy. Legally and above board, of course. Yes. Sadly, the other Pathfinder vessels were lost when the Scourge hit the Nexus. The Tempest is truly unique.
What do you think of the rest of the crew?
Dr. Tapero seems nice, if quiet. It must be very different here, compared to the Hyperion. Fewer people in stasis shock.
Let's keep it that way. What do you think of the rest of the crew?
Given Drax's history with Solarians, it's probably better I just stay out of his way. Too bad. That grunion roast he makes smells delicious.
You know, I haven't actually met many Solarians.
Careful. Depending who you ask, we're conniving spies, genius researchers, or meddling scientists. We have to pack a lot of living into 40-odd years. Everything gets accelerated, lines blur. And if Dr. Adden was being honest, we haven't learned a damn thing from our old mistakes.
Tell me something else about the ship.
Her engine's based on the Ark's Odyssey drive, which got us through dark space. The core takes the static electricity it generates and stores it in capacitors. We basically make our own power supply. It took Serena and Tion weeks to get it working on a smaller ship. And a few electrical shocks.
What do you think of the rest of the crew?
I think that PB needs to read a few safety manuals.
Tell me something else about the ship.
Our aerospace engineer was Tianada Vasmore, a Quarian fellow, and absolutely fearless. Once, some Omega scrap dealer pulled the "we don't sell to Quarians" nonsense. Tion found a workaround.
What did he do?
He glued a memory foam to his environmental suit, then, during the negotiations, leaned against the drive core he wanted, very casual. It made a perfect mold of the components, and the scrap dealer was none the wiser.
I'll let you concentrate.
You know where I'll be.
Liam's idea about watching vids together.
Movie night? He delayed again, out of respect for Reka.
Good. From what I've seen, your vids are flat. They're only seen and heard. Angara vids use tiny electrodermal signals. You feel it through your skin. I spoke to Gil. We have time to rig up a system to mimic it, if we can acquire the right components.
Would that be safe for non-Angara?
I think so. Gil will be happy to test it. The components we need should be sold on Aya. Let's be vigilant.
Feeling okay?
How did you get into medicine?
My mum was a dancer on Omega. Dad was a bouncer. I'd patch him up after busy nights. Discovered I had steady hands. They put every credit they earned into my education.
Are they here in Helios?
No. Both died in a turf war. Made leaving the Milky Way behind easier.
So how did an Asari doctor end up on the human Ark?
Specialist in alien anatomy, remember? That includes humans. Also, Harry insisted. Maybe he always intended to switch jobs.
I'll let you get back to it.
I'll be here if you need me.
Ryder?
Any more Commando war stories?
We once infiltrated a dangerous cult by posing as new initiates. Valenza hated it. She was like our padre. The cult, that perversion of faith, really upset her.
How did you stop them?
Nasira pretended that Valenza needed to be purified of evil. She was given a private audience with the cult leader. Valenza shot her, and then prayed for her.
Any more Commando war stories?
Not just now. I'll try to remember a good one.
Any more Commando war stories?
Not just now. I'll try to remember a good one.
See you later, Cora.
I'll be here.
Pathfinder. Thought you might be Callow. I asked him for nav data.
Data for what?
Mapping the Scourge. Now we know it's a weapon, I hate it more. Designed to isolate, lingers well after the war. I know what that is. It's a minefield.
You saw minefields in crisis response? A lot of wounded?
That was awful, sure. But the long term is worse. Minefields hobble the whole population, make normal life impossible. Mark this. The Ket are bad, but whoever deployed the Scourge, they're some motherfuckers. Tev Uni. A home on Vold. Sort of. Still feels good though.
Just checking in. I wanted to ask about you.
What do you want to know?
Tell me about your family.
I miss the hell out of them. Some nights you just cry, right? That's the thing everyone does. Mom Joelle, Dad Calvin. Both lawyers. Met on the Citadel, settled on Earth. No brothers or sisters. That might have been too much to leave. It was traditional. How about you?
Traditional is a weird term for family. Like normal. Who's that describe?
Suppose you're right. I sure didn't keep to tradition. I said goodbye to my mom and dad and got on a ship to Andromeda.
You were a cop, then crisis response? Couldn't have been long in either.
Didn't have the patience for law, so I figured enforcement. Dad knew it didn't fit before I did. But it got me into hustle. They mostly take vets and retired service. Best years of my life.
An impatient rookie, frustrated by procedure. That's overdone.
I know, right? I wanted new, and I got it. And that led me here.
I have to know about the car.
We'd wrench on it as a family. Mom suggested it, and Dad liked a happy mom. That's how I fell into mechanical stuff. Armor and jump jets. Mom wasn't a fan of the second part. You know how it is.
I worried my parents from time to time.
That's a kid's job. I probably crossed the line a few times, though. Like jumping a galaxy. That's why I have to make this work. If I don't, then Andromeda was a mistake. I said goodbye to too many people to let that happen.
Tell me about your friends in crisis response.
I swore I wouldn't tell anyone what they did. Stealing the shuttle for the car was above and beyond. Dondi, Base, Mazzy, Noel, Cap, and goddamn Hammond. The best people when buildings have fallen down. Eventually, I'll have to start a new branch here, you know? I promised.
We'll talk later.
I know it.
Still thinking about the Turian Ark, Mason and Avidus. I hope Avidus is doing all right.
Time heals all wounds, as they say.
Heals the wound, doesn't erase it. You don't lose someone like that without scarring.
So why weren't you on the Turian Ark?
Our dad left Palaven with us long before the Ark even existed. I don't know if we really count as members of Turian society anymore. But who needs all those rules anyway, right?
You were on the Nexus when the revolt happened?
When you promise people golden worlds and all they get are wastelands and a death cloud, they riot. Some wanted to go home, some demanded answers, and a couple just wanted to stir shit up.
And you?
Some days I wondered if the exiles had a point. Maybe we were conned into coming here. But why would the Initiative go to all this trouble just to screw us over? Thing about conning people, you always know something they don't, and that's why the con works. And if I'm going to pick a side, I'm picking the liars.
How did you hear of the Andromeda Initiative?
Short answer, Kesh. She was looking for some experimental ship mods, and I knew how to track them down. I thought it was a one-time deal, but she came back. Once, twice. Eventually I figured out something was going on, something big with creds behind it. I asked and she told me about the Initiative. New galaxy, new home. Couldn't pass that up.
I was curious about you and Sid, being on your own from such a young age.
Yeah, I really wouldn't recommend it.
Where was home? Palaven?
No, we'd already left Palaven by then. Whatever our dad was involved in meant we weren't welcome there. I hadn't even gone to boot camp yet. Sid was barely a year old. We eventually settled in a mining colony in the Minos wasteland. 2 years later, our dad was gone.
How did he keep you and your sister afloat?
I was barely more than a kid myself, so lots of unskilled work, construction jobs. No one else would do the dangerous stuff, so I would, being up high, crawling under things. I could shoot a gun, so eventually I moved into smuggling. Even more dangerous, but lucrative. We were never rich, but we got to comfortable.
Where was your mother in all this?
Back on Palaven, I suppose. She was an awful person. All she cared about was climbing the ranks. She and my dad fought all the time. I think at the end they hated each other. When things were really tough, I thought about going back. But she wouldn't have accepted us. Whatever my dad did destroyed any chance of that.
You probably have work to do. We can chat later.
You know where to find me.
Everything okay, Drac?
Got my my thinking face on, don't I?
Looked like some pretty intense thinking there, yeah.
I was just thinking about what a good friend you've been to me and my people. Just so you know, you can count on me for anything you need.
Got any stories or advice to share?
Does a piejack scratch its butt?
Tell me more about fighting Ket.
So, Chosen, it's not good to let too many of them get close to you at once. If they hit your shields, take a step back. Let me handle them. Bet you anything they're not used to being rushed by a Krogan.
Tell me more about fighting Ket.
Fire and explosives are good against anything with heavy armor. Or anything, really. Generally, no one likes being set on fire.
Generally? There's a story behind this.
Ha, there sure is.
You mentioned that people generally don't like being set on fire.
I was hoping you'd ask. So, about 400 years ago, give or take a decade, me and my outfit were pinned down during a skirmish with another merc group. So I pull off my usual stunt, charge ahead and breach their barricade. Pop my flamethrower and get ready to let go. Only to see them all screaming and running away. Turns out, I'd crashed through a shipment of Turian brandy on my way in. Never even noticed I was on fire. But they sure did. Never seen a pack of mercs panic that badly before.
Tell me more about fighting Ket.
Ascendant, Keep your distance. Don't let him get you in those force fields. Pop that little orb, then shoot him in the head, just like anything else.
Tell me more about fighting Ket.
Fiends, kid. Even I'm not gonna mess with those at close range. Keep your distance. Shoot him in the red, fleshy bits, or I guess in the face if you can't flank him.
Tell me more about fighting Ket.
Shoot stuff and don't die. Always works for me.
Tell me more about fighting Ket.
Shoot stuff and don't die. Always works for me.
Got any stories or advice to share?
Does a piejack scratch its butt?
Tell me more about fighting Ket.
Shoot stuff and don't die. Always works for me.
We can talk more later.
Sure.
Hail the Archon Killer.
Are you going to stop calling me that?
Sure. What's up, Archon Killer?
Out with it already. What's the deal with you and Callow? Anything I should be concerned about?
Twist my arm, why don't you? It's contrasting styles more than anything. He's a blueprint guy. I'm gears and guts. Got ink on his digits, not grease up to his elbows. If you didn't have me to balance him out, you might be in trouble. Heck, maybe that goes both ways.
With Meridian running, you think the Nexus is ready for full-scale operations?
I suspect they're gonna need a decent runway to ramp up. But the place is buzzing, Ryder. The future is brighter than ever now. Everybody's feeling it.
Regale me with some poker wisdom.
Well, bluffing and reading players aside, poker is all about math. If the odds of getting the card you need are greater than the bet, make the bet.
Good talking to you, Gil.
Anytime.
Haval, the oldest new world. I like it.
We'll talk later.
I know it. Diteon. Diteon. A home in the middle of Kadara, despite it all.
We'll talk later.
I know it.
Hey.
Hello, Ryder.
How's the face wound?
I think my scar will be impressive.
Now you're gonna look even more badass.
And more appealing.
No doubt. Look at all the dates Drac gets.
Can you stay and talk some more?
Can you tell me more about the Ket occupation?
It's a difficult subject. I'll answer what I can. I may get emotional.
Well, enough about that. I'll see you later, Jal.
Stay strong and clear.